Right now it's time for our little chat with Brian Mad Muffet Grantham. He was the drummer of Slaughter and the Dogs, and he also plays for Ed Banger and the Nosebleeds in England. And I think we should talk to the chap. What do you think, bro?
I think, bro.
I hate that.
Yeah,
bro,
man.
I think, bro. Dude.
But stick around, yeah, because after the interview with Brian, we also have Roots of Rocks coming up, some Stiv Baiters, some Scorpions going out to a dear friend, and maybe even some, I don't know, we'll save the end for a surprise. How's that?
Yeah. You're at KSKQ. Please donate generously at kskq.org. Here's our chat with Brian Grantham from Slaughter and the Dogs. Yeah, punk rock history here, kids.
We are speaking with Brian Mad Muffet Grantham, who is with us live from London, England. Brian, it's a pleasure to have you here, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know you played your last show about a week ago. How was it?
Pretty much. It was a great evening, but we had a bad time driving down. As we actually speak now, we were still in the car travelling in really bad weather to get to the iconic Open Anchor, which is a very well-known gig in London, Islington, to be exact.
Now,
so, yeah, good gig.
How long have you been a member of Ed Banger and the Nosebleeds? It's been quite a while, right?
It's probably getting on about 11 years when me and Ed now decided to, Edwina kind of decided to put the band, start doing stuff with Ed Banger and Nosebleeds. So it's about 11 years now. But, you know, yeah, so time has passed.
Well, you know, a lot of people know about you. I think I first heard about you guys back when the punk rock movie came out, way back in the day, 1978 Don Letts film. I'm a young man in the middle of America, and I'm like, wow, Slaughter and the Dogs. I love that name. And I want to know, what you guys think about that punk rock movie when that came out?
Well, we didn't really... Would this be the Don Letts one? It would be.
It's got the one with the pig head on the stage that's getting more beaten.
I think that's going to be the most of that footage would be from the Roxy, which would have been the Don Letts. I'm thinking it's the Don Letts movie. That is that high title is the punk rock movie. So yeah, I enjoyed doing that back in the day. Yeah, back at the Roxy Club, 77, I think.
Yep. Yeah, Roxy Club, Don Letts. You're right.
Yeah, the Roxy Club. Yeah. Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, The Damned, Ed Banger and Nosebleeds, Slaughter and the Dogs, Generation X, Chelsea, Eater. All them bands played down there. The Roxy album says it all. I mean, they're all listed on that album.
Well, you guys were formed in Slaughter and the Dogs formed in 1975 in the Manchester area. I think you were the Manchester, England, like the first punk band from that area. Is that true?
Absolutely right. Yeah. Within kind of within shore. I mean, what would it be? Maybe 15 miles square. I don't know. But we were the first band in within shore, that particular area, and one of the first punk bands in Manchester. I mean, I can only kind of say Buzzcocks, Slaughter and the Dogs at the time, and then a lot of other bands started jumping on the wagon there. You know.
So, what band inspired you guys?
Well, I can also say, I mean, the other guys, I mean, I know Michael and Wayne were very kind of glammy, and Howard was more into the bass player, was more into Status Quo, and other kind of more rocky bands, where I was as well. I was more into the kind of Stones and a bit of the prog scene. I was more into that and whatever. But I kind of when I kind of picked up on Ronson and Bowie and stuff, Mick and Wayne were first into that, and we kind of incorporated that in some of our influences, the influences within the music and within the band.
Excellent. Now, I'd like to know how you guys were picked to be the opening act for the Sex Pistols' very first show, which was on July 20th, 1976, I believe, at the Manchester Lesser Free Trade Hall. How did you guys get on that bill?
Well, we were kind of on the particular evening. I mean, me and Mick Rossi, we were out in town. We were out doing a bit of a walkabout in town, and we bumped into the van there outside the Lesser Free Trade Hall. So we kind of had a drift in, and we went in, and we experienced the band. And then after the show, we had a chat with them. We said we got a band, and we kind of exchanged numbers, and it kind of went from there, you know.
Did you get along well with Sex Pistols drummer Paul Cook?
I had a chat to with Paul. Yeah, I mean, it was okay. I mean, pretty much with every drummer. I mean, even to this day, if I'm doing a gig, I always kind of have a bit of a chat with the drummer. But pretty much more, it was more chatty with Malcolm. I think me and Mick we didn't kind of connect on the first gig. Only on a kind of business kind of sense, saying we've got a band, we'll exchange numbers, and that's what we did.
Interesting. Were you guys fans of the Sex Pistols sound?
We kind of didn't really understand it at the time, to be honest with you, because we didn't know of the band, so we wasn't fans at that point on that first gig. And then as it kind of came out with the rebellion and the punk feel and all that. The Pistols were obviously the leading kind of, the leading ones, first band. We kind of then became fans of, obviously, the songs and what have you. It was only the one gig we did with them.
Yeah. What was it like behind the scenes or backstage at that show? What was it like with the vibe?
So that had been the second show when Sluts and the Dogs and Buzzcocks did the show with them.
Okay.
Yeah. As I remember, they were just kind of really, really cool. Just sat hanging around and waiting cool, I think, taking orders from McLaren for their future, which they actually got. It was kind of very, it wasn't kind of that loose and rebellious, to be honest with you. It was quite organised. I think McLaren had his plan for the kind of future for that band, and I think they were pretty much aware of that. They went out with attitude, with a professional feel, and did the gig. It was just people, because it wasn't prog, it wasn't folk, it wasn't glam, it wasn't middle of the road. It was something new sound, bit of aggression to it. It was harder than the Dolls, so they kind of knew what was going down. It was pretty well kind of orchestrated, I believe, and planned in a kind of way. Maybe the mastermind, Malcolm McLaren, was behind most of it. Yeah.
That's awesome. I know that Joy Division's manager, Rob Gretton, released Cranked Up Really High by Slaughter and the Dogs in June of 1977. That was listed in Mojo Magazine's list of the top 100 singles of all time.
Yeah, Rob, sadly, he's not with us anymore, bless him. Rob Gretton was, he kind of started our fan club. To be honest with you, he kind of got a lot of things moving. Rob was a bit of a genius in that way, before Joy Division or, New Order, whatever he got involved with. He kind of had a little typewriter on Thorley Walk over in Williamshaw. And he kind of looks after our fan club. And, he got things moving for us, and he actually put the money up for Cranked Up Really High for us as well, Rob Gretton. So it was great, Rob.
Who are your personal drumming influences, if you have any?
Mine? I always hear that kind of, the Honky Tonk Woman intro is kind of for me. It's always there, the Charlie Watts intro. But I kind of, Bonham still, to this day, I still hear things, what he does on records, John Bonham from Led Zeppelin. I still hear things that he does. But I didn't hear back in the day. I'm hearing new stuff all the time. If you listen to his back catalogue on the records, his back catalogue, not you know. But I mean, obviously, he's bouncing off Page and John Paul Jones and the kind of plan of the track or the composition of the track. But it's got to be John Bonham for me. I mean, he's a great player. Just technically, he kind of covers it all. He's a bit like how do they say? Footballers tick all the boxes. Bonham does that for me as a drummer. There's a bit of jazz.
Yeah.
There's even punk in there. I mean, I can actually hear. I mean, I've actually put stuff in punk records. What I've heard Bonham doing to Led Zeppelin. You know, it's just in him. You know,
he was so heavy-handed. It's amazing.
Well, to be honest with you, he wasn't that heavy-handed. I mean, a lot of people do say this, but his sound was very loud. It was very his tuning was very ringy, but he also had a bottom end on the kick. But his toms were tuned very high, and he wasn't that heavy-handed. It's just that he just went the way it went. He had a great attack, a very heavy attack, but he wasn't very. He
did a very heavy resonation.
That would be the word. I think that would be the one. But there's a lot of other drummers, you know, that I listen to and and I like as well. I mean, you know, Peter Erskine's. I mean, I listen to him a lot. And Steve Gadd's a great. I like just some of the things he kind of puts down there. And it goes by the feel. It's a combination for me when I listen to drummers.
Well, you know, I know that Slaughter and the Dogs reformed with the original lineup, and you guys did like in 2015 you did like your 40th anniversary show. You also did Rebellion Fest 2016, and then the singer, of course, he ended up getting a whole new lineup. What's the story with that?
I mean, I'm not too sure on what kind of went down. Because Mick Rossi was working with him. They were working together. They were going out sawing the dogs. So I don't really know what went down, on a personal kind of situation. But Wayne decided to kind of get another Sawing the Dogs together in Europe. And he's been doing that. But I did recently have a collaboration with Michael and Howard, Mick and Howard, in Manchester in August. It was for Mosmore. Yeah. We got together. We just did 5 numbers. We did some Heartbreakers and some Sword from the Dogs. And the chemistry was still there. It was great. But obviously Wayne's had to kind of reassess it. He's had to redo it. He's had to kind of get players in to do the Dog Style album and the rest of the catalogue. But I've got to say, for me, there's only one Slaughtering the Dogs, and that's the 4 of us. When we really kick in, it's good, you know. The band's great, chemistry's great, and everything. So, but I can't really elaborate or kind of comment on Wayne's band as such.
Yeah. So, do you guys think you'll ever? If you had to guess, do you think you'll ever reunite again?
Sorry.
Do you think you'll ever reunite again with the original Slaughter and the Dogs?
So the 4 of us?
Yeah.
I think there's just too much gone under the bridge there. It's kind of like, in fact, the bridge is broken. I can't see Wayne and Mick Howard and myself all working together again, unless someone's kind of offers some big money and we all kind of go for the money. I'm not particularly bothered about the money, but them guys might be, so they might do it. But I've always been into playing my drums and coming in and doing it in that way, you know.
That's awesome. You've kept it real and you do it for the right reasons, man, you know.
But I love playing, and it's not just about the playing, it's collaborative. It's a bit like film, you know, you've all got to get together, you've got to organise it, you do it. You sit and stink and shit in cars and vans still, and, you know, you're not earning loads of money, but it's about the social interaction, you're getting out there and doing it and enjoying, playing music and writing music and composing, and you're interacting with people. So that's what, if you do that, and, you know, I'm happy to, you know, work with people who have on them lines, you know. I play with the drones. I don't just play with the nosebleeds, and I also jam blues and play with other people. So I don't like to be connected just to one band.
When is your next gig?
Next gig's going to be, I've got to list it. My next gig's the 28th and the 29th. That's over in Manchester with the Drones. In fact, it's, and then I've got the 5th of November over in Shepherd's Bush with Ed Banger and the Nosebleeds.
You should consider writing an autobiography book sometime if you haven't already.
Everybody kind of says that. They say, are you going to write it? Are you going to do it? But if I did that, I mean, I've got to kind of go back into loads of memories. It's going to kind of stir shit memories, and then I've got to promote it. I've got to get on buses, I've got to get in cars, I've got to kind of answer loads of phone calls, and then I've got to think, is it going to sell 20 or is it going to sell 500? It's just not for me. I've blown my own. Everyone knows it. Everybody knows it. There's nothing for me to say apart from maybe hiding in a Dalek when we did London Weekend Television. There's just nothing for me to say. Everybody knows it. It's already been written.
And so it is. Well, Brian, I really appreciate you taking the time to reschedule the interview with me today. I'm a fan of your work. I'm super happy to see you keep going and that you're going on and on and on. And I hope you keep rocking until the very end, my friend.
Fantastic, Derek. I hope to kind of, connect with you again at some point, maybe. Maybe we could come over to your, maybe, when we kind of come overseas, perhaps, if there's anything planned in the future.
That would be amazing. We would love to have you play the States. I'd definitely like to keep in touch with you.
Thanks, Derek. Fantastic.
Okay, great. You have a great evening, my friend. Thanks so much, Brian. It's been a pleasure.
Well, I wish you well. Thanks, Derek.
Cheers. Thank you.
Okay, bye now.